There are places on Earth so extraordinary that even in our most advanced age, they still feel impossible, as if reality itself briefly forgot its limits. Towering summits rise beyond the clouds, while emerald bays, endless deserts, and volcanic craters unfold in colors so intense they seem imagined rather than real. Geothermal valleys breathe steam into cold air. Oceans conceal living cathedrals of coral, and silent canyons carve deep into the bones of the planet. Ancient stone sanctuaries cling to cliffs. Forgotten cities rest beneath layers of time, and gravity-defying roads trace lines through landscapes once thought unreachable. This is a journey across the most impossible wonders on Earth, extraordinary destinations so breathtaking and surreal that they continue to shock, humble, and redefine what we believe our world can be. Banff National Park is Canada's first national park, established in 1885, hidden deep within the Rocky Mountains and shaped by forces beyond comprehension. Its mountain ranges are built from sedimentary rock over 500 million years old, containing marine fossils now pushed above 11,000 feet. Several cliffs display sharply folded strata that look like frozen waves, a rare structure formed under massive tectonic stress. Banff sits on a thrust fault over 200 miles long, where ancient rock slabs override younger layers in reverse geological order. Towering glacial valleys echo with cracks from shifting ice, making it feel like the ground beneath your feet is still in motion. Banff is not just a park, but a living archive of Earth's formation, where geology, time, and space visibly converge. Capanna Margherita stands atop an icy European summit and is widely recognized for its extreme elevation and its function as a high-altitude research station. The oxygen level here reaches only about 60% of that at sea level, giving scientists a natural setting to observe human physiological responses. The structure sits at nearly 15,000 feet, offering a rare environment for long-term studies of adaptation at altitude. Annual shifts in the underlying permafrost require periodic adjustments to the anchoring system to maintain overall structural stability. Surrounding the refuge are snowy slopes and ancient ice formations that reveal the slow geological history of the high mountains. Biomedical surveys note that short-stay visitors often show increased hematocrit, indicating a rapid adaptation mechanism to low oxygen conditions. Lying along the Lena River in Yakutia, Russia, Lena Pillars forms a giant stone wall stretching more than 50 miles across a frozen desert landscape. Some of the stone columns here rise close to 1,000 feet, standing upright like sharp spikes, creating the most massive vertical rock scene in Northeast Asia. The rock layers were formed over 500 million years ago and contain many Cambrian fossils that mark the beginning of multicellular life. Evenly split vertical cracks allow sunlight to shine deep into the cliffs, making the scenery change depending on where you stand. This site was chosen as a symbol of Russian geology at the World Earth Expo in 2025, resembling an ancient fortress rising in the wild Siberian landscape. It is one of the clearest examples of karst terrain formed on limestone under freezing conditions, creating strange shapes not found anywhere else. Located on the border between Switzerland and Italy, Matterhorn rises like a giant vertical rock with an almost perfect four-sided pyramid shape. The summit reaches nearly 15,000 feet above sea level and is made of ancient gneiss rock, once part of the African tectonic plate. Its nearly vertical rock walls make the terrain extremely dangerous, and very few people can reach the top. Since 1865, more than 500 people have died trying to climb it, turning the mountain into a symbol of greatness and danger. Snow and ice around Matterhorn form large ice towers and moving landscapes that constantly shift with the seasons. The surroundings include not only steep rock, but also glaciers, deep passes, and bare valleys, creating a harsh and unforgettable natural experience. Raja Ampat is located in the western part of New Guinea Island, Indonesia, and is known for its dense and unusual limestone seascape in the Pacific region. Hundreds of dark limestone formations rise from the sea, forming a natural maze stretching for dozens of square miles without following any geometric pattern. Some cliffs reach up to 400 feet straight from the water, with no stairs or paths leading from the land. This marine area holds over 600 species of hard coral and 1,300 species of reef fish officially recorded by global scientific organizations. While swimming in the turquoise water, visitors can clearly see coral patches, manta rays, and glowing marine creatures just beneath the surface. Raja Ampat allows a maximum of 18,000 visitors per year to protect its untouched nature, so the long white beaches here are never crowded. Located within black lava fields in southwestern Iceland, Blue Lagoon is a strange geothermal spa that continues to attract serious scientific attention. The lagoon forms from geothermal water rising from more than 6,500 feet underground, rich in natural silica and sulfur that create its milky blue color. Visitors are only allowed to bathe for up to 4 hours, since longer exposure can dry the skin or disrupt the body's mineral balance. The entire lagoon is surrounded by dark lava rock and soft green moss, producing a strong visual contrast against the pale blue water surface. Cracked basalt terrain, volcanic stone, and layered lava flows shape the area, making the landscape feel like an ancient geological system still unfolding. Today, Blue Lagoon is ranked among the top 25 modern wonders of the world, welcoming more than 1 million visitors each year. Kamchatka Peninsula is located in the far east of Russia, and this peninsula stands out for having one of the highest volcano densities on Earth. With more than 300 volcanoes, around 30 of which are still active, Kamchatka Peninsula is often called the Ring of Fire of Russia. Some volcanic craters here reach up to 3 miles wide, forming deep canyons thousands of feet deep caused by collapsed peaks after eruptions. This is a tectonic edge zone where Earth's plates collide, creating geysers, hot springs, and massive lava fields that constantly reshape the land. Its landscape blends snow-covered peaks, glaciers, untouched forests, and solidified lava, forming one of the rarest geological combinations on Earth. Most tours here use helicopters, since no roads fully cross the peninsula, which is nearly as large as the state of California. Situated in the Atlantic Ocean, Skellig Michael stands out for its steep rock formation, rising about 700 feet, and for a centuries-old monastery preserved on its summit. Its volcanic foundation with sharply angled layers creates an uneven terrain that makes movement and settlement extremely demanding. Early monks selected this site to build their settlement using dry stone techniques that reveal remarkable adaptation to harsh natural conditions. The island's ridges form narrow slopes that compress available space and require precise use of every stable surface. You can see ancient stone steps carved into the rock, showing the continuous manual effort needed to inhabit such isolation. Some stones used in the structure are estimated to weigh more than 400 pounds, demonstrating the labor intensity of its earliest builders. In Indonesia, Tumpak Sewu waterfall forms a circular drop resembling a volcanic crater, creating one of the world's most surreal water spectacles. Hundreds of narrow streams pour from every direction, making you feel surrounded by falling water inside a hidden, natural basin. The waterfall was shaped by water slowly wearing away soft limestone and ground collapse, leaving a giant bowl open to the sky. Instead of forming rivers, the water disappears into rock layers, building a rare underground stream system uncommon in tropical waterfall regions. Fog, dense forest, and floating clouds surround the site, making it feel like a lost world, untouched by human presence. Tumpak Sewu symbolizes eternal return, where every flowing stream circles back into one single center before starting the cycle again. Across the Komi Plateau in Russia's Ural region, Manpapuna rock formations rise as 7 massive stone pillars standing upright in an isolated tundra landscape. With no tall trees or human structures blocking the view, the land opens for miles in every direction, creating a vast and empty visual field. Each rock column reaches between 100 and 140 feet in height and has existed for more than 200 million years without visible collapse or tilt. Beneath layers of moss and ice, the ground remains flat, making the stone pillars appear to emerge directly from the earth in a way that defies simple logic. Climbing the rock formations is strictly forbidden, not because of danger, but due to their protected spiritual status under local conservation rules. Fewer than 300 visitors arrive each year, mostly researchers, and all must carry personal GPS devices because no phone signal or rescue stations exist within 30 miles. Zakynthos is a solid limestone island in the Ionian Sea, where the ocean glows turquoise due to light reflecting off white stone. Towering vertical cliffs surround the island without any gentle shoreline, making the entire landmass resemble a giant rock floating in the sea. The water shifts color throughout the day, creating a natural gradient from deep blue to emerald green and eventually shimmering silver. You can stand atop a cliff over 600 feet high and see the transparent sea stretched downward with perfect clarity. Many rocky formations were considered sacred boundaries by ancient people and left untouched as markers between the human and divine realms. The coastal terrain is carved into sharp angles and straight lines, an unusual phenomenon rarely formed by normal marine erosion. Geyser Lake lies deep within Russia's Altai Mountains and is known for its natural mud eruptions that swirl beneath the lake bed surface in circular patterns. Each swirl formed by the mud is different, with new shapes appearing after every eruption from the underground layers. The lake is about 100 feet wide, but the water is so clear that you can see the entire structure at the bottom. Underground springs, rich in minerals, push calcium-filled mud upward, creating a deep blue reflection that looks unusual and intense. The lake's shape is kept stable by permafrost layers set more than 65 feet below, holding the eruption system in place for decades. Surrounding the lake are pine forests, ancient granite rock, and snowy mountains, giving the area a remote feel like a prehistoric world. Veria geothermal area in northeastern Iceland is one of the few places where people can witness the Earth's crust actively shifting above ground. The rift between the North American and Eurasian tectonic plates moves nearly 1 inch every year, reshaping the land underfoot. Boiling mud, white sulfur steam, and constant bubbling sounds cover a dry landscape with no grass or plants. The ground shows orange, gray, and green colors caused by chemical reactions between minerals and sulfur gas rising from deep below. A special camera once placed here to monitor sudden gas bursts completely melted after only 11 hours of use. Tours at Veria usually last less than 25 minutes, with guides carrying gas sensors and emergency radios because the air may cause vomiting or fainting. Located on the northern coast of the United Kingdom, Old Man of Hoi is a unique red rock pillar standing 450 feet tall on a base of shale stone. This tower formed over the past 300 years as erosion slowly separated it from a once connected sea cliff. Ancient layers of sandstone are tightly stacked like vertical walls, but the base continues to erode more visibly each year. There are no trees or human structures nearby, making the landscape feel completely untouched, with only seabird calls and waves crashing on rock. To get close, you must walk for 3 hours across harsh terrain without shelter, following a narrow path on top of a cliff. Geological surveys show the base is weakening quickly and may collapse within a few decades, increasing its urgency for travelers to see it in time. Located in the limestone region of southeastern France, Verdon Gorge is recognized for its deep, narrow walls carved steadily over millions of years. The towering cliffs rising hundreds of feet reveal intense erosion where ancient water once sculpted rare vertical cuts. The turquoise river, flowing between bright stone surfaces, creates a sharp contrast that defines the landscape. Geological studies show that the limestone structure records cycles of ancient marine shifts, reflecting long-term environmental changes. The exposed layers allow you to view stacked sediments directly, appearing like a natural archive placed along the gorge. A karst tunnel system beneath the gorge extends nearly 7 miles, revealing a historic water network that once moved forcefully before disappearing. Located at the southern tip of France, Bonifacio stands out for its sheer white limestone cliffs where urban structures blend almost seamlessly with raw, natural terrain. Mistral winds in this area can reach nearly 56 miles per hour during colder seasons, steadily reshaping exposed limestone surfaces over time. Geological cross-sections here clearly expose ancient sediment layers, allowing scientists to interpret the tectonic history of the surrounding marine region. Long-term monitoring data show the underlying rock mass shifts by roughly 0.1 inches per year due to combined wind and coastal erosion. The southern defensive wall extends over 1,150 feet, built using ancient fortification techniques that remain largely intact today. Many geological studies regard Bonifacio as a rare model, where an urban settlement exists directly atop an actively changing rock-sea boundary. Luyang Lake Wetland Park, a unique wetland area in Yangzhou, Jiangsu Province, China, is a place where nature and science converge. Here, metasequoia and pond cypress trees grow upright in water about 3 feet deep, creating a rare, floating forest effect. Recognized as a provincial-level wetland park since 2011, Luyang Lake connects natural conservation with unique ecological tourism. The lake's water is always a vivid green, like powdered matcha, thanks to a layer of duckweed covering the surface, resembling a giant wheat field. The ecosystem here is special for its ability to absorb rainwater and reduce flooding in the Jiangsu Plains. A visit to Luyang Lake provides a feeling of stepping into a completely different world, where nature is serene and close at hand. Situated in the mid-Atlantic, Madeira Island draws attention with volcanic slopes shaped by eruptions lasting more than 5 million years. Basalt formations have produced sharp cliffs and deep V-shaped valleys, carved through long periods of erosion. Ocean winds carry moisture toward the ridges, creating the horizontal rain phenomenon typical of volcanic islands. Ancient forests on the mountain slopes are estimated to be nearly 2 million years old, showing remarkable ecological stability. Much of the island's surface rises steeply, forming a continuous network of rugged ridgelines. In certain areas, thick cloud layers cascade down the slopes like a slow-moving waterfall of mist. Amid the southern mountains of Georgia, Vardsia rises as a massive monastic complex carved directly into a steep basalt wall, forming a structure isolated from its surroundings. Surveys indicate deep subterranean cavities reaching nearly 300 feet, suggesting the complex extends far beyond its exposed facade. Its inclined stair tunnels demonstrate refined spatial orientation techniques developed by ancient builders during underground expansion. Inside, large chambers were smoothed through water friction, allowing stone floors to remain stable for many centuries. Stacked corridors create a multi-layered network that preserves traces of continuous habitation across more than 800 years. Storage rooms also revealed about 6,000 pounds of organic ash, confirming a large-scale food reserve once operated here. Located deep in northern Mexico's desert, Valle de los Monjes is known for its towering natural columns, reaching up to 40 meters in height, creating a stunningly unique landscape. These columns are formed through millions of years of erosion, created from highly durable basalt layers. Despite its arid conditions, the area is home to a variety of wildlife, such as snakes, squirrels, and wild rabbits. Beneath the basalt layers, recent surveys have revealed traces of deep cavities, unveiling some of the valley's mysteries. The name Valley of the Monks comes from the resemblance of the columns to monks standing in solitude amidst the vast surroundings. A recent study shows the area spans more than 200 square kilometers, highlighting the vastness of this unique, rocky landscape. Majlis Al Jinn in Oman is an immense underground chamber where sunlight pierces the darkness like a vertical blade of light. The cave was formed when underground water dissolved limestone for millions of years before the ceiling collapsed into an enormous chamber. To access the cave, people must rappel down a vertical drop over 300 feet with no other entry possible. In 1983, NASA used this space to test aerial equipment in a gravity-free underground simulation environment. The cave floor is smooth and covered in dry dust, helping preserve geological features unchanged for thousands of years. Inside this vast cavity, all sense of sound and direction disappears completely due to the absolute darkness and stillness. Nambung National Park in Western Australia features a surreal landscape where thousands of limestone pillars rise from golden desert sand. Thousands of stone spires erupt from the ground, creating a scene where there are no boundaries between order and chaos. The contrast between pale limestone and dry sand creates strong visual distortion, making the terrain resemble a fabricated sci-fi set. You move through a completely open environment without anchors, where every step feels isolated and disconnected from familiar context. These rock columns formed from ancient marine sediments eroded by wind and rain over tens of thousands of years. No two pillars share the same shape, and the unpredictable forms confuse your perception of rhythm and spatial flow. Rarely on Earth can one witness something like Mount Yasur in Vanuatu, where lava erupts constantly before the eyes of visitors. The volcano lies on the edge of two tectonic plates, where magma rises unusually close to the surface and creates continuous underground pressure. Its massive crater hurls black ash, hot gases, and glowing fire into the air, as if the planet itself were breathing. Getting this close to an active lava vent makes it one of the most extreme destinations for thrill-seeking travelers on Earth. No permanent structures exist near the crater, since people living nearby must fully adapt to constant environmental hazards. In 2020, the site was temporarily closed after thermal cameras detected explosive energy levels similar to a small-scale bomb. Mount Everest, located between Nepal and China, is the highest mountain on Earth, reaching over 29,000 feet according to the latest survey in 2020. Since the first ascent in 1953, more than 11,000 people have attempted the summit, with over 330 deaths recorded. Near the peak, the terrain becomes a slippery mix of bare rock and thin ice, creating a surface extremely dangerous for every step. The eastern ridge features black, metamorphic rock, naturally carved into sharp, massive steps that dominate the skyline. When standing in the death zone above 26,000 feet, blood begins to thicken from lack of oxygen, and survival is measured in minutes. Climbing Everest takes at least 60 days to adapt, travel, and wait for safe conditions, with costs reaching $50,000 and success rates below 50%. Ha Long Bay is located in northern Vietnam and is one of the most famous natural heritage sites in the world, recognized twice by UNESCO for its unique geological value. It is a closed marine bay with over 1,500 limestone islands rising from the water, forming a breathtaking and completely distinctive landscape. This place is known for its ancient limestone karst system, shaped over hundreds of millions of years by erosion and collapse. Some underground caves stretch up to 2.5 miles long, with horizontally growing stalactites rarely seen in coastal cave systems. Many stone pillars rise up to 1,000 feet from the sea, creating a rare three-dimensional marine karst formation that is geologically unstable. In the past, Ha Long Bay was used as a strategic shelter during the war against the French because of its complex terrain. Ngorongoro Conservation Area is a living geological wonder located in northern Tanzania and was recognized as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO in 1979. This protected area covers more than 3,200 square miles and includes the massive Ngorongoro Crater, highland grasslands, dense forests, soda lakes, and important fossil sites. Inside the crater, over 25,000 wild animals live year-round, including black rhinos, male lions with dark manes, wildebeests, and zebras. The Maasai people still live and raise livestock inside the area, combining their nomadic traditions with natural conservation. Ngorongoro Conservation Area is one of the only places on Earth where you can camp overnight on a volcanic rim with a full 360-degree view. The area also preserves clear evidence of human evolution, with many ancient fossils discovered throughout the region. Located within the extremely dry Atacama Desert in northern Chile, Valle de la Luna overwhelms visitors with strange salt rock landscapes and harsh, exposed geology. The crystallized salt layers here are more than 16 feet thick, spreading across the valley and reflecting light as pale white-gray surfaces over fractured ground. The air contains unusually high levels of sodium and sulfate ions, which can cause immediate skin dryness without proper protective equipment. The geology of this area was used by NASA to test planetary robots because of its dryness and mineral composition similar to Mars. This region contains no flowing water or vegetation at all, remaining completely barren and unable to support long-term life. Many sharp rock ridges, rising over 100 feet, have been eroded into a natural maze, making camping or overnight shelter impossible. Marble Caves is located near the border between Chile and Argentina and is known worldwide for its one-of-a-kind marble cave system carved by turquoise lake water over thousands of years. The marble formations here are over 6,000 years old and have been naturally sculpted into domes, pillars, and curving tunnels with smooth surfaces. Since there is no road access, visitors must use a small boat or kayak to weave through the floating rock openings, creating a sense of mystery and adventure. Some marble blocks rise over 50 feet high and have been eroded underneath, making them look as if they are floating on the lake. Marble Caves sits in one of the most glacially active zones in the Andes, yet no major arch collapse or cracks have been recorded in over 100 years. The lake is so deep and clear that you can see straight through it, allowing light to refract and create glowing effects from below. Located in the mountainous region of western Norway, Trollstigen stands out with its winding mountain pass, fully paved using locally quarried stone. The route forms part of a nearly 62-mile national tourist road, officially protected and preserved by the government since 2012. A glass bridge spans the waterfall, reinforced with rust-resistant Corten steel railings, engineered to withstand wind forces up to 56 miles per hour year-round. The landscape design once won the Nordic Landscape Architecture Award for its seamless fusion of raw natural stone and minimalist structures. At the start of each tourist season, technical teams spend roughly 3 weeks clearing ice, reinforcing stone walls, and inspecting safety systems before reopening the pass. In 2023, Trollstigen was officially listed as a National Landscape Heritage Site under special protection by order of the Norwegian government. Richat Structure, also known as the Eye of the Sahara, is one of the strangest and most debated geological formations on Earth, located in the center of the Sahara Desert in West Africa. In shape, it looks like a giant eye carved into the desert, with a spiral of sandstone and volcanic rock worn down over time. You cannot clearly see the full shape from the ground, but only when looking from a satellite or high altitude does the eye become visible. The colors between the rock layers create a huge abstract painting from above, with bands of yellow, reddish-brown, pale purple, and grayish-white. There is no fixed road to reach it, and you must use special vehicles or a helicopter to see the full view of this wonder. At first, people believed it was an impact crater, but scientists later confirmed it is an eroded geological dome shaped over millions of years. Mutnovsky Volcano is located on Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula and reveals raw geological power rising directly from deep inside the Earth's crust. Its sulfur vents are highly active, with more than 80 acidic steam outlets spread across wide valleys and cracked mountain slopes. The summit clearly shows red, grey, and yellow rock layers stacked in open view, forming a fully exposed geological structure. Steam and sulfur gas create a steady cloud ring that covers the crater almost all year, making the landscape look unreal. Sulfur-rich water flows from deep channels, forming dark yellow rivers that change color depending on volcanic activity below. Only about 300 people each year can reach Mutnovsky due to the harsh terrain and high levels of toxic gas. Suspended over 3,000 feet above ground in China, Buddha's hand bridge is uniquely supported by a giant sculpted hand emerging from the mountainside. The massive hand symbolizes divine protection and is hollowed with an internal frame resembling human bones to enhance both strength and spiritual resonance. The bridge rests on granite bedrock that formed hundreds of millions of years ago through rare tectonic uplift activity at such elevation. You can step directly onto the giant palm and gaze across endless misty forests, stretching toward the horizon, feeling as if you are floating in the clouds. The hand appears unnaturally organic among green peaks, glowing softly under morning light and creating an illusion of something beyond the physical world. Due to its surreal geometry, many people initially believe images of this structure are computer-generated or part of a cinematic special effect. Askja Caldera is located in the central highlands of Iceland and is globally known for its sunken landform, large volcanic lake, and heavily fractured terrain. The caldera covers more than 30 square miles and was formed after a massive collapse caused by a violent volcanic eruption in the late 19th century. The ground is covered in black basalt ash and deep cracks stretching for miles, making the entire scene dry and lifeless. What makes Askja so unique and strange is its empty landscape with basalt rocks, dark volcanic ash, snow patches, and a sharply contrasting blue lake. This location falls within a no-fly zone because the high magnetic levels and geothermal gases can disrupt navigation systems. Devil's Tower is one of the most unusual and iconic natural structures in the United States and a sacred cultural symbol for more than 20 Native American tribes. It is the world's clearest example of columnar magma crystallization, rising vertically and formed about 50 million years ago underground before being exposed by long-term erosion. The tower surface appears dark gray, marked by sharp vertical fractures that run continuously from the base to the top of the massive rock body. Devil's Tower attracts professional rock climbers, with more than 200 established climbing routes following steep natural cracks across its vertical walls. At the beginning of 2026, online searches for this landmark increased by more than 400% after viral drone videos spread widely on TikTok. Devil's Tower also appeared in the classic science fiction film Close Encounters of the Third Kind, released in 1977. Turning the site into a global pop culture icon. Takayama, in the central Japanese mountains, is known for a historic wooden town that has preserved its traditional layout through many centuries. Studies show that local cypress wood has higher density than average, allowing joinery frames to remain stable in demanding mountain conditions. The district conserves more than 40 joinery patterns, reflecting craftsmanship rarely maintained in other historic settings. You can notice uniform narrow street proportions and two-story houses, forming a continuous urban rhythm across generations. The cool and moderately dry climate slows wood deterioration and helps original facades remain intact for long periods. Many wooden houses in Takayama have been confirmed by tree ring analysis to be more than 250 years old, placing the town among the longest preserved wooden urban areas in Japan. From a rugged mountain region in southwestern Turkey, the Konos rock tombs are recognized for facade carvings rising about 26 feet directly from sheer stone walls. The compact limestone layers preserved sculpted details despite thousands of years of erosion. Temple-inspired forms carved from single stone masses reveal the refined workmanship of the Lycian community. Broad, flat surfaces and deep-cut channels across the cliff indicate a construction effort spanning many centuries. You can notice wooden fixing holes on several fronts, showing how stone elements were paired with organic components during completion. Some carving lines vary by less than half an inch, demonstrating remarkable precision in ancient stone working methods. Set within a dense, urban traffic system, Huangjuewan Interchange stands out for its multi-level layout that keeps vehicle movement steady. The structure relies on more than 60 main pillars, engineered to absorb twisting forces produced by sharp curves and shifting elevations. Natural slopes push the entire network to rise and coil vertically, forming three-dimensional crossings uncommon in other locations. The layered, curved ramps let drivers change direction smoothly without interrupting active traffic. Technical simulations carried out over 2 years refined turning trajectories and reduced traffic conflicts in a limited space. Many visitors say they feel both overwhelmed and excited because the interchange resembles a giant three-dimensional maze. Flaming Cliffs is a fiery red cliff formation in the Mongolian desert where the rocks glow as if burning under sunset light, creating visual illusions so intense they appear computer-generated. The entire landscape feels frozen in time, preserving evidence of ancient life while symbolizing the disappearance of a prehistoric era. You can stand in absolute silence on this crimson land with no trees, no echoes, only wind and the eerie sense of traveling back to the dinosaur age. In 1923, the first fossilized dinosaur eggs ever discovered were found here, launching a global revolution in paleontology. The cliffs were formed from sandstone layers dating back over 70 million years, containing unusually high concentrations of iron oxide that give the rocks their deep red color. Under daylight, each exposed geological layer resembles wood grain, capturing Earth's evolutionary timeline through natural color and texture. Aogashima is an oval-shaped island in the Pacific Ocean where people live entirely inside a still active double crater volcano. The outer rim rises between 700 and 1,300 feet, forming a massive, oval-shaped depression in the ocean. There are no beaches or flat lands, only steep rocky slopes that feel like you are living inside the earth itself. The island is a rare example of a double caldera, where a smaller crater collapsed inside a much older one. To reach it, you must cross the ocean by boat or helicopter, fully dependent on sea and wind conditions. In 2015, NASA used Aogashima as a model for off-world research on volcanic planets and extreme environments. Dominating the landscape with an active acid crater, Huangjuewan Volcano National Park in Costa Rica resembles a world after total destruction. The burned terrain around the crater glows with scorched red soil and black stains, resembling more a blast zone than a mountain. The crater lake's glowing green surface sometimes turns grayish-white when sulfur gas levels exceed safe environmental thresholds. You can walk near the crater edge where acidic vapor rises continuously from the lake, filling the air with danger. The sulfuric lake has a pH near 0, capable of corroding metal and creating one of Earth's most toxic natural environments. Gas explosions in 2017 and 2019 shattered observation posts and forced full evacuations within just a few minutes. Nowhere on Earth is quite like Rotorua geothermal field in New Zealand, where the ground constantly releases steam, boiling mud, and scorching gas. The soil here displays intense natural colors, such as orange, green, red, and yellow, formed by mineral deposits from acidic geothermal activity. In 2016, NASA selected Rotorua as a testing ground for autonomous robots on volcanic planets with extreme environmental conditions. This is the most active geothermal zone in the Southern Hemisphere, with hundreds of steam vents, boiling pools, and mud geysers packed together. The region sits along a subduction zone where tectonic plates collide and magma rises unusually close to the Earth's surface. You can walk beside acidic lakes and hissing steam columns, while the trembling ground below your feet adds constant risk to every step. Al Wahbah Crater in Saudi Arabia is a rare phreatic sinkhole with a perfect circular shape and a salt-coated floor in black basalt. The white center resembles a giant eye, carved into volcanic rock, producing intense visual distortion and overwhelming any sense of depth. This unusual structure formed when underground water explosively vaporized on contact with magma, creating an immense pressure-driven geological cavity. You can stand at the crater's rim and look down onto a gleaming salt flat spread wide across an empty desert basin. For centuries, locals believed it was an impact crater because its flawless symmetry and massive scale defied normal volcanic explanations. Steep walls encircle the crater like a stone fortress, rising several hundred feet high with no permanent trail leading to the bottom. Miradouro da Lua, also known as Moon Viewpoint, is a surreal rock landscape along the Angolan coast, about 16 miles from the capital, Luanda. The terrain here was formed by more than 50,000 years of intense erosion by wind and water, creating deep ravines and sunken stone columns. During the colonial era, the Portuguese referred to this place as the gateway to hell overlooking the ocean due to its strange shape. The landscape stretches for miles, with stone columns rising up to 100 feet, forming shattered, tower-like shapes. The Earth's colors shift constantly from brick red to earthy orange, light yellow, and gray ash, creating a surreal atmosphere because of the way the different mineral layers react to sunlight, making the surface appear to glow at different times of the day. Visitors often sit quietly at the highest point at sunset as the light turns the landscape gold and purple, making everything feel like another world. Bentonite Hills is one of the most unusual places in the western United States, where clay hills create a landscape unlike any other. The bentonite clay layers were formed over millions of years from ancient sediments, showcasing a distinct difference in color and texture. Here, the landscape changes from gray and brown clay to red, yellow, and blue, creating a natural painting full of artistic appeal. The clay hills at Bentonite Hills expand and contract according to wet and dry cycles, making them appear like floating icebergs. Particularly, these clay layers were formed from volcanic ash and lake sediments, providing a vivid testament to geological changes millions of years ago. Standing among these hills, visitors experience an absolute silence, as if stepping into another worldly space. Patapat Viaduct, a 0.8-mile-long viaduct, stretches over limestone cliffs along the coast of Ilocos Norte, Philippines. The bridge was built to connect remote areas and serve tourism while overcoming the rugged coastal terrain and large waves. The landscape here features a perfect blend of limestone, blue seas, and tropical forests, creating a rare natural beauty. This viaduct is not only a transportation link, but also a place where visitors can enjoy the turquoise sea and towering cliffs. Each day, as sunlight shines down, the bridge and sea merge into a mystical scene, changing colors at different times of the day. Despite having no protective barriers, Patapat Viaduct remains pristine, giving visitors a feeling of being close to nature. Hundred Islands National Park, located in Lingayen Gulf, is an archipelago consisting of over 100 islands and islets, featuring a rich marine ecosystem. The islands are primarily formed from limestone, eroded over millions of years by wind and water, creating impressive landscapes. In 1940, the park was designated a national park to protect the area's natural beauty and significant cultural heritage. The park spans 17,000 hectares, with islands ranging in height, some rising more than 300 feet above sea level. It is part of the Coral Triangle, home to over 300 species of corals and 500 species of fish, creating a rich marine ecosystem. The park is not only a haven for nature lovers, but also an ideal spot for those wishing to explore life beneath the ocean. Come to the Lee River, where water flows through tower-shaped limestone mountains, beginning a geological journey that started around 300 million years ago. These limestone formations were eroded over time, forming steep peaks, reaching about 3,300 feet, completely defying normal landscape logic. Recent scientific studies suggest this area may represent the largest limestone weathering zone in East Asia, shaped by intense geological processes for millions of years. High calcium content inside the rocks makes the river water crystal clear, reflecting light and revealing rare geological structures beneath the surface. Humans adapted by building with limestone itself, creating living spaces that blend naturally into the surrounding terrain without disrupting the visual balance. Hundreds of limestone peaks rising directly from the water create a surreal presence, making visitors feel as if they have entered a living ancient painting. Amid the dry Altiplano region of southern Bolivia, Laguna Colorada stretches out in a deep red tone across one of the most unique salt lakes on the continent. The bright red water comes from a reaction between Dunaliella salina algae and iron-rich sediments, changing depending on sunlight and weather conditions. The lake is only about 1.5 feet deep, but the intense red makes the surface look like glowing minerals from below. The muddy bottom is rich in borax and gypsum, forming raised ripple patterns that stand out clearly against the white salt crust. Laguna Colorada is a sacred symbol for the Aymara people and is known as the blood lake of the Mother Earth. Special tours often provide oxygen masks, so visitors can handle the high altitude and thin air when standing near the lake. White Sands National Park in New Mexico, United States, is the largest gypsum sand area ever recorded in modern geological history. The sand here forms from crystallized gypsum salt, appears pure white, does not hold heat, and is completely different from regular silica sand. This type of sand contains more than 50% pure gypsum crystals and reflects light so strongly it can cause glare without eye protection. Dunes as tall as 60 feet move by dozens of feet each year, constantly reshaping the entire landscape. Most desert ecosystems grow thorny shrubs or cacti, but White Sands has plants that change root systems based on shifting sand. The sand here is so light, it can be sucked into airplane engines and has clogged rotor systems during several military test flights. Seven Sisters rises along the English coast with a continuous chalk profile, known for its purity exceeding 95%. Fossil-rich layers preserved for more than 80 million years offer essential evidence for ancient marine environments. The landscape shifts along steep coastal slopes, shaped by natural erosion and forming sharply defined contours. When you walk along the upper trail, the constant changes in elevation require steady adjustment as each incline appears unexpectedly. Long-term geomorphological surveys have documented the steady retreat and structural adjustments of the chalk formation. Ground radar analysis reveals internal voids within the bedrock that help explain the unpredictable collapse pattern of the cliffs. Located on a conglomerate mountain range in Catalonia, Montserrat Monastery stands out for its elevated position and rock layers showing higher compression strength. Geological core samples reveal sediment thickness reaching 250 meters, indicating intense, ancient environmental shifts. The monastery was constructed directly against the mountain surface, forming a rare architectural bond with the natural stone. When you move along the cliffside paths, the changing rock forms reveal multiple spatial layers across the landscape. Restoration efforts based on historic records allowed the complex to regain much of its original organization. Recent LiDAR surveys identified more than 300 vertical cavities, illustrating the distinctive weathering processes shaping the mountain. Located within a narrow rock gorge of southern Spain, Setenil de las Bodegas is known for homes built directly against stone ceilings compressed over millions of years. Rock masses above the town are estimated to weigh over 8,000 tons, forming rare natural roofs across the settlement. Several dwellings extend nearly 65 feet into the bedrock, creating semi-cave structures that enhance stability and insulation. The narrow landform forces construction to follow the natural curve of the cliffs, producing horizontal rows of houses shaped by the terrain. Mineral bands on exposed stone surfaces preserve ancient marine conditions that once dominated the region. Recent geological surveys show the rock canopy remains structurally stable for more than 2 centuries, with almost no new fractures. Located in northern Italy, Lake Como is recognized for its remarkable depth and long glacial formation that carved a broad, natural basin. Sediment studies reveal that the lake preserves geological layers extending for more than 20,000 years, offering clues to ancient climate shifts. Its consistent depth supports cold water species that maintain stable biological rhythms in an environment with minimal change. Local traditions describe the water surface as unusually calm in the afternoon, giving the area a quiet and restrained atmosphere. The steep underwater slopes generate swirling currents that create a multi-level hydrological system found in few other glacial lakes. Ground-penetrating radar has also detected deep glacial cavities that may indicate unexplored geological chambers beneath the lake. In the northern mountains of Borneo, Kinabalu Park is defined by a young granite massif formed about 15 million years ago and by endemic species adapted to steep terrain. Strong elevation shifts create narrow microclimate bands that generate complex biological structures within a limited area. Field studies show that many orchids and carnivorous plants tolerate nutrient-poor soils typical of high mountain regions. The park's landscape includes slanted rock faces, granite spires, and alternating forest zones arranged by altitude. You can observe vegetation changing over short distances, illustrating how elevation strongly shapes species distribution. Geological studies confirm the mountain rises about 0.2 inches each year, meaning the terrain continues to shift across long periods. Built in Western Germany, Cologne Cathedral stands out for its immense scale and a construction history shaped by generations of craftsmen. Its sandstone facade contains more than 80,000 decorative elements, documented by researchers demonstrating highly intricate carving work. The modern stained glass panels are assembled from thousands of small pieces arranged through algorithmic design for a uniform pattern. Rock layers nearly 350 million years old allow the structure to remain durable under long-term, harsh weather. When you look at the soaring pillars and pointed arches, you clearly feel how Gothic design pulls the space upward. A recent engineering survey confirmed that internal steel reinforcements in the towers were strengthened to withstand strong winds. Dara Ancient City stands as a historic stronghold in southeastern Turkey, recognized for its long strategic role in conflicts between Byzantine and Persian forces. The city was shaped atop thick sandstone, allowing ancient builders to carve structures directly into the ground without mortar. This area once served as a critical control point, featuring layered defenses formed by corridors, walls, and subterranean spaces. Its multi-tier hydraulic system, including reservoirs, underground channels, and deep wells, reflects impressive water management during prolonged military pressure. Studies confirm that Dara ranks among the densest rock-carved urban complexes in the Near East. You can move through underground halls stretching many dozens of feet, where chiseled marks remain visible on the stone ceiling. Ayutthaya is located in central Thailand and rose to prominence as a powerful capital marked by its tall brick towers. The city was founded in the year 1351 and expanded rapidly as a major religious and commercial hub. Its monuments use fired brick combined with design influences from India and Buddhist traditions, forming distinctive pointed towers. An ancient canal system allowed effective water control while supporting transportation and connections across the city. The landscape is defined by slender towers rising above open ground, like upright markers of historical layers. Archaeological studies reveal traces of Western traders from the 17th century, showing Ayutthaya once played a key role in global exchange. Tulum, located on the Yucatan Peninsula, stands out with ancient Maya structures set against natural cliff backdrops. Built in the 13th century, Tulum is one of the few coastal Maya cities to have preserved its protective city walls. The buildings here are mainly made of local limestone, a durable material that withstands the harsh coastal climate. Once an important trading hub, Tulum exchanged goods like cacao and salt with regions far and wide. The city walls feature numerous patterns that reflect the Mayas' religious beliefs and rituals, showcasing their unique culture. Tulum is known for special structures such as the El Castillo Temple, which faces directly toward the sea, an exceptional example of Maya astronomy. Upper Mustang Sky Caves contain over 10,000 man-made chambers carved into vertical cliffs nearly 13,000 feet above sea level. Some caves are perched over 500 feet high with no clear access, requiring ropes or bare hands to reach them. Geological surveys reveal more than 200 vertical cave layers stacked like an inverted tower across the sheer canyon walls. Dozens of clustered openings resemble a giant beehive, yet each cell once served as ceremonial or communal space. The surrounding landscape blends red canyons, pale ridges, and golden cliffs, creating an alien environment that defies earthly expectations. It was not until the early 2000s that scientists first entered and documented untouched cave systems hidden for millennia. Mammoth Cave lies deep beneath the United States and is the world's longest cave system, with over 410 miles explored. Massive collapsed stalactites that fell millions of years ago remain untouched, serving as clear evidence of geological motion over time. The rippled ceiling resembles a frozen sea, while cave walls reflect light thanks to layers of calcium crystals accumulated over ages. The cave consists of 3 stacked levels, formed through uninterrupted limestone dissolution that lasted tens of millions of years. Underground, you can walk for hours without seeing daylight, as every passage lies deep across multiple subterranean layers. Early maps of the cave were drawn by African-American slaves, the pioneers who guided others through its complete darkness. Melisani Cave in Greece is a collapsed roof cavern containing a glowing underground lake illuminated by direct sunlight entering from above. You descend through a stone passage to reach an open chamber where still water appears like a parallel hidden world. The rocky ceiling narrows gradually inward, making the boat journey feel as if you are drifting toward Earth's inner core. The cave was rediscovered in 1951 after a major earthquake collapsed the roof and revealed the luminous lake. This underground water body mixes seawater and fresh water, producing unusually clear depths and shifting blue tones rarely seen elsewhere. Microorganisms within the lake react strangely to light, creating a natural luminescent effect that cannot be replicated artificially. Kuang Si Falls in Laos formed through mineral-rich limestone, producing a turquoise watercolor rarely found in natural environments. While swimming in cool forest pools, you can touch the bottom and still see clearly through the sparkling surface. Elevated limestone rocks appear like floating steps, giving swimmers the surreal sensation of walking gently across the surface of water. Water cascades over layers of pale stone, forming a flowing staircase of crystal terraces beneath the jungle canopy. Each tier represents a rhythm of life, surging forward, pausing in silence, then continuing to spread outward in constant motion. Many visitors describe Kuang Si as both overwhelming and peaceful, as if touching a source of pure, natural energy. Few places on Earth are as bizarre as Boiling Lake, where a giant pool of steaming water boils under a constant white haze. The surrounding terrain resembles an alien world, with fractured ground, discolored rock, and jets of vapor rising fiercely from hidden vents. The lake stands as a raw symbol of Earth's inner energy, where human control disappears before unstoppable geological force. A volcanic fumarole beneath the surface injects hot gases into rainwater, forming a dense grey liquid that boils without stopping. You must hike for hours through slippery volcanic slopes and jungle terrain before reaching this surreal, isolated geothermal marvel. In 2004, the lake mysteriously vanished for several days and then boiled again. No clear scientific explanation was ever confirmed. Waimangu Volcanic Rift Valley in New Zealand is the only geothermal valley fully created after a modern volcanic eruption in recorded history. Each step takes you past emerald lakes, ash-grey pools, and orange-tinted water bodies that coexist within a single volcanic rift. Lake colors shift due to methane gas, sulfur compounds, and metallic oxides rising naturally from deep underground geological layers. These geothermal features first appeared after 1886 and continue to evolve in temperature, chemistry, and underground structure. Hot streams burst through cracks and vanish again, with no fixed river paths due to the valley's ever-changing internal pressure. This site once held the tallest hot water geyser ever recorded, reaching over 400 feet before ceasing activity in 1904. Lake Asale in Ethiopia is a salt lake located about 400 feet below sea level, where cracked ground holds no life. With no outlet for drainage, Constant evaporation leaves behind thick layers of crystallized salt covering the entire lake surface. Sharp salt fissures form jagged white patterns, as if the earth were being stretched and torn open by invisible underground forces. Under intense sunlight, the lake's salt patterns shift rapidly, making its entire surface appear completely different within just a few days. Phoksundo Lake, one of the deepest lakes in Nepal, reaches a depth of 1,500 feet, offering a mystical beauty in the Himalayas. Located at an elevation of 12,000 feet above sea level, the lake is one of the highest and most unique travel destinations in Nepal. The lake's stunning color, from turquoise to deep blue, is created by light reflection through mineral-rich water and limestone. This area is part of the Himalayas, where sheer cliffs rise up to 3,000 feet, creating an incredibly impressive landscape. Phoksundo Lake is not only home to rare wildlife, but also holds significant spiritual value for Tibetan Buddhism. Visitors come here not only to admire the scenery, but also to experience the tranquility and peace that nature offers in this high-altitude sanctuary. Tengboche Monastery rises at over 11,800 feet above sea level, securing its place as one of the world's highest monasteries. Built in 1916, it serves as a major spiritual hub for Tibetan Buddhism in the Himalayan region, surrounded by towering, sacred peaks. In 1989, a devastating fire destroyed the entire complex, yet it was fully reconstructed by 1993, preserving its original purpose and spirit. The structure is defined by massive Buddha statues, symbolic stupas, and vivid religious murals, each detail echoing centuries of spiritual tradition. The monastery sits directly in front of Everest and Lhotse, creating an overwhelming landscape where raw nature and sacred space collide. For many who arrive after long treks, the silence, altitude, and sacred presence produce a surreal emotional state that feels both humbling and transcendent.